I started to get involved with Branch Kids initially because there was a vacancy in my daughter's age group. They needed people.
I'm really introverted, and it's hard for me to get out there and do something new, especially when I moved to Dallas, I was by myself. And so this was one of the things I started doing to serve. I feel like we need to serve in the church. God calls us to do that. And this was one of the best ways I could find to do that and really meet the people of the branch.
I show up to participate in the love of Jesus, not just receiving the sermon or receiving the communion, but I get something to give.
This is the community of the church in action.
I was really worried about the teaching aspect, but it turned out to be a lot easier than I thought it was going to be.
The curriculum that we're using right now takes the kids all the way through the Bible. It really has a lot of information, and I'm learning new things each week.
What you're going to find is the best way for you to learn something is to teach it.
To prepare for these stories and to learn to tell the gospel stories to where a 6-year-old can understand it, it's a really good practice for sharing the gospel.
You do not have to have a PhD.
You do not have to be an expert or a theologian.
I don't have all the answers. It doesn't matter if you're 6 years old or you're 60 years old.
There have been many times that I've said, you know what, I'm going to have to look that up.
And it's always okay to say, I don't really know.
It's not so much having to be responsible for teaching them all about God's word or leading them to salvation. It's all little things. You're planting the seed, and God is going to water it for you. You're never left alone.
If I'm sick, if I need to travel, anything like that, there are people who can fill that gap.
Everyone's very flexible. You just let them know you are going to be out that week, and they'll get you a volunteer to fill in for your spot.
If there's anything you need, they're always right there for you. They're walking the halls, and if you need help with a child even, you can say, hey, will you step in?
It's not hard at all. Anyone can do this. They make it so easy, and you have this stuff in advance. I prepare the night before. We show up, and all the things they said were going to be in the classroom are in the classroom.
You have great backup. You have amazing resources, so there's really nothing to fear.
Come teach with us. We always have at least 2 teachers in every classroom, and then you get to watch these kids develop, and you get to watch these kids understand, and you understand why Jesus said, unless you become like one of these, you can't inherit the kingdom of heaven, because the way that they just so openly accept these stories, accept this faith, accept this belief in supernatural things, you walk away realizing, I need to be more like that.
They are listening, they are putting into practice what we learn through Bible stories, Old Testament, New Testament, every week. And it's just very encouraging to me because they're the future church.
To have them give you a hug on the way out the door, to have their parents come back the next week and tell you stories of how they sat in the back seat all the way home and told them the story.
We need every different kind of personality. We need every different kind of skill you can think of. And if I can do it, you can do it.
Working in Branch Kids is more than just watching kids. It is really investing in them. It's not just throwing a lesson at them and just having them do a coloring sheet. It's having conversation with them. It's watching them worship. I have been brought to tears many times watching the kids worship.
I just hang out with the kids. I think that's really important. I think that's one way that they learn, just talking to them and listening to them, and what they have to say sometimes is the best thing you can do for those kids.
It won't take you long before you figure out that sitting beside a kid and helping them color a sheet is loving them like Jesus would like us to. It's not some massive teaching effort.
If you are even considering it, I would encourage you to just act on that nudge and at least talk to someone who's associated with Branch Kids and learn a little bit more, and I promise you won't regret it.